Hello everyone again. I'm sorry, I was not expecting that my phone would die so quickly, and I didn't want to fuss with it in the middle of my pedicure, so I just I kind of tried to clean up the stuff. Hi Linda, thank you for being here. I choose Portugal because I love this wine color, and also because I have a few of these, and I know it always happens that when I use one set it's like, oh, that's so pretty, I would like that. So I didn't want to use one that I have only one and then you would love it and it's like, sorry, I don't have anymore. So I wanted to explain a few things because a lot of people ask me, and especially if you don't know Color Street yet, you might think that, oh, okay, so if I want to do my pedicure, I have to buy the pedicure set. And then you might think that, oh, I really liked, hey Natalie, thank you for hopping on. So often people say that, oh, I really just use it on my pedicure, but I don't like those colors because we don't have that many choices in the pedicure line. So I would like to show you and explain, unless you have white feet, white toenails, which I only met a handful of ladies so far in over a year who is in that situation. One of them is apparently my friend Jamie, who rocks it. I'm so proud of her because she was probably the one who struggled the most to use these strips, and because she's an awesome friend, she just kept trying and supporting me, and now she's doing all these fancy crazy designs. So I'm really proud, and I didn't know until recently that actually for her this strip, the biggest one, is not wide enough. And I'm gonna show what to do. Like, I'm not gonna stick on my feet, I just want to like kind of show and give an example of what can you do in that case. So even if your toenails are maybe wider, hi Brianna, I just saw you were live too. So even if it's a little bit narrow for you, there is still a solution. You are not stuck with only that couple of pedicure. But definitely for the first time, if you find something you love, that would make it easier in case you need the bigger strip. So I'm gonna open the pack, and I will turn over the camera. I try to find a weird spot when I can have my phone connected and you can see my feet, so it's kind of interesting. But so if you open the pack, you see that these are double-sided. So you can see that there is this line here, which means you can perforate it there, and you pretty much like get two rounded edges. And I love actually because this is a little bit squared here, and this is what I use on my big toes. The difference with the pedicure, beside that it's just all bigger, like there is a bigger set here, a strip, and then this is the second, and so on. The other difference, that imagine that it just cut here. So it's not double-ended, you just have like one side. So truly you can use 10 sets, 10 strips for 10 fingers. So you can, of course, if you're more seasoned and you want to save or whatnot, you can like, there are tips and tricks, and you can cut it, but you might not want to fuss with it. Hi Erica. So I will show how I use and how I measure kind of on my feet. And I thought I'm gonna take a picture and put it here because I forgot it in the bathroom. I find this really cheap Revlon file to like can kind of get rid of the dry skin on my feet. I have been in one of the nail salons here in Austin when we moved here 3 years ago, and that was my first time when I was like, holy crap, like my skin is really smooth. And I looked at what they are doing, and it wasn't, normally just they use this foam rubby thing, and it never really did, I guess because my skin is just really dry. And this nail salon, they use something else, and then you know how I am, I'm just like, what is that thing? And then I search and I find one that you can even buy in HEB or whatever grocery store. It's a Revlon brand, it's like $7 or something, and it really works great for me. So if you have dry skin and you struggle because you would like to get a pedicure but right now you cannot, send me a message and I will take a picture and send it to you. It works really well for me. So back to the strip. So once you have actually, yeah, so when you open the pack, I almost never do this like correctly, so I have to, you have the alcohol wipe, and because my skin and my nail and my hair is dry, I don't actually use this. I use a nail strengthener on my fingernails, and I skip the alcohol pad altogether, and I don't use acetone nail polish remover. If you experience that you have problem that your nail starts to like split, like horizontal, it's because your nail is too dry. So try to skip the alcohol pad, just wash your hands or your feet with soapy water really well, dry it, make sure you don't have any lint, and you're good to go. I personally haven't experienced that it didn't work. Of course, if you have really oily nail bed, then you have to like even maybe use a Band-Aid from OPI to help with the, you know, stick it better. But I have not heard so far people, maybe just one lady said that, oh, it's like peeling off because my nails are oily. So it shouldn't be in general an issue. So I remove the alcohol pad, and I will try to turn this camera over and show my feet. Let's see if I can rotate your phone. Ah, you know what? It doesn't want me to. Can you see my? So I have to say, I'm really pushing myself out of my comfort zone here, showing you my toes. Because when I was a student, when I lived in Switzerland, we went to this house party and we were all sitting there barefoot, because it's someone's home, a tiny apartment, like we all had like 200 square foot. And a friend of mine made a comment how I had the ugliest feet he have ever seen, and since then I have been very self-conscious about showing my toes. So now jumping on live here and showing my toes is like more than out of my comfort zone. So once I wipe my toes nice and clean, I'm gonna come and open the strip. Here you go. So you have 2 sets of 18. I just put one aside. I know I don't need it, and I like to take it apart by one, and I will pretend that I don't know which one goes on which toes, which is not true. I have done it so many times that I just know. But so if I don't know, you can even like before just go. I actually know that my toes are so narrow that even this biggest one side is actually too wide, which is perfect because I can show you how to like remove the excess. So pardon me, I have my door here because I lost a charger, so I try to figure this out. But this is like my amateur video, plus I have all the names here. So I know that the second biggest one is my toenail size. It's actually a tiny little bit too narrow. It actually might even work, but I rather have a tiny little bit bigger. It depends on how picky you are. Like some people are really like it has to be perfect and you cannot see like a millimeter here. I don't really care on my feet, especially as someone said, no one is getting so close to your feet ever. So you see it's a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna use this so I can show you what to do, and it's the same on your fingernails. So you go and take off the top layer, then you take off with the silver tab, classic, we all know this by now, and then I take off this end, and if there is a little bit, you know, like it's sticking out, I just remove that right now so I don't have to fuss with it later. And then you just go, I like, if I know it's a little bit wider than it's supposed to be, I like to kind of line up on one side, just like this. I kind of press it down, and then I go across my feet and then just wipe it. And you see how this is wider here than it's supposed to be. especially on the bottom. So I just wipe it down, or like press it down and go all across, and just go under. You know, it's actually not that bad. And then I just go tiny. I like to tag just gently, not to tear it off, but just to like kind of see where the edge of my toes are, and then just go with my finger. If you do your pedicure and your manicure same day, I did this mistake before. Make sure first you do your toes, because if you do your fingers and it's freshly manicured, you're gonna, you know, scratch it a little bit. It needs a little bit of time until it's like fully cured. So the other, actually, I know it's gonna, you know, just barely be enough. But again, you go here, and then I just, you know, I just like wipe across the whole. And yeah, so you see, this is what I knew it's a little bit wider. My nails are just really narrow. So what I do, I just go, and you can use a cuticle pusher, or if your nails are long enough, I just like to go, because you feel where your nail ends, and then you just take this off, and that's it. And then I clean off the top of it too. And you can use your file if you like it. I'm not a big, I rather just like kind of wrap it around and then take off the excess with my fingernail. I don't like, and that's it. And I really did not do much for my pedicure, but here you go. You can make sure like it maybe has a tiny little bit here. One thing, if you ever experience that it chipped in the side, like lift up, it's because you didn't make sure that you took off this excess on the side. You never want to have overhang either on your cuticle line or in the side. So you just want to go with your finger on both sides, just like this, and clean it up. And that's it. So I just used one strip on two, and literally my husband just take off my previous pedicure right before this phone call, so I didn't have time to do much with my pedicure. I'm like just took it off. So then I took, this is the tiniest one, and you see I have like barely no nails on this toe, which was always really difficult for me, because when I was painting, like, so you see how it's like kind of goes on top of it. It's like I was painting and I had like nail polish all over here and like everywhere, and I get super frustrated. With this one, look how easy it is. You peel this off again, you take this off, and then I just press it on, and it's so tiny that it's like literally you just barely touch it on. Just that's it. And then I go, I make sure that it's all the way on, and then here you go. That's it. Then I go with the other side. I take off the here, and I'm gonna go to my next finger. And there is two of these, so if I do, the great thing also that they are so tiny that almost you don't have to bother about like aligning it. Like you can almost not mess it up and not aligning it right. It's only the big toes that are a little bit. Let's go there. Make sure that you take off all the extra here. And then if there is a little bit overhang, you see it's even like too big on this one. So I just go with my fingernail and just take off the extra. Yeah, and that's it. I have already 5 nails done. So I will show you the last one, and I think that you get after. This is one of the biggest. So I see that this one is a little bit narrower, this is a little bit wider. So I'm gonna use this side on these toes, and then the other side I'm gonna flip around and use it here. So again, on the last time, I take off silver tab and so on. and I'm super sweaty here because it's super hot in Texas. I don't know where you live, but it's getting really hot. So I just put this on. I try to align with my cuticle. You see, just you don't even have to smooth anything. You just push this on, and you see how is it like you almost just like press with your fingernails. And if you don't have long enough fingernails, like you really like your nails is like cut all the way down, you can do the same with a cuticle pusher. I recommend that you use the flat part, and so I just press it down like this. I make sure that it's all the way to the end attached. Share something on how to save the excess. Okay, so let me finish this one, and Linda is asking how to save the leftovers. So side note, this saving the extra is not by any stretch of imagination, is endorsed by Color Street, and you should never say to anyone I'm recommending this, but I do, because I do the same. Let me turn this back and look at you. So you see, I just did my toenails. I could even do my fingernails, and I would only use 10 of them, and I have 6 left. So it's great because you can use for a mixed manicure. Or here, I just did my manicure. I'm not gonna do my manicure for another week probably. So I will have a full sheet, so it's 8 sets. And then I need, how much? 2 more for this feet, which will be a little one, and then another, maybe this one. So I will have, can't calculate, 11 left. I use 5 to make my toes, and then out of the 16, I will have 11 left. So if you don't mind to waste, it's fine, you can just toss it, or you can use it with, it's great if you have like a girls gathering and you do your manicure, you can share. Or you can do, sometimes I do my daughter's nail with it, but even then there is leftover. And I just love, I think that yeah, toes are not that nice as the manicures, but yes, so I take the bag and I just put this back to the bag, and I shake it down so it goes all the way in. So you see, you have all this extra space here, you see. And then I have actually vacuum sealer, so I don't have a hair straightener. I have a curling iron, so that works too, but then it's like, like kind of cricket, and I'm kind of a little bit on OCD, so I like to be it like very squared. So that's why the curling iron, it works if that's all you have. If you have a flat iron or straightener, that works too. I use my vacuum sealer, and then I just seal this back. And you just keep it in a cool place like you would do with any other stuff. And my experience is I have used it up to 6 months and it was fine. That being said, if your strip were perfectly fine when you opened it, and then you do this reseal and you realize that it's not sticking, or if it keep coming off, that's kind of, the risk we are taking. So if it's not working, too bad. I mean, we tried, and, if we can use it later, that's great. If not, it was not meant to be reused. But I think it would be a waste not to give it a try and make it a nice mixed manicure, or maybe I can do my manicure next time. So that's how you do it. You put it back to the bag. You make sure that there is enough space in the plastic, empty, and then you just, with a flat iron, hair straightener, curling iron, vacuum sealer, whatever is that's hot, you just like reseal it, and you make sure it's airtight, just like it was, and you can keep it. I actually tried to just do this, put this hole in a Ziploc as is, and put it in the freezer. My first experiment failed badly because my husband thought that my daughter did it, and the next day he just took it out from the freezer, and I find it a few hours later on the top of the kitchen counter. So that was kind of, you know, it didn't work out, but I used one of the sets for Halloween, and I figured, you know, it's like, it's in a year, I'm not gonna use it again, so I don't really care even if it gets destroyed. So I decided to choose that set to do this experiment. I tossed it in the freezer, so it just the bag, you put it back, you put this in a Ziploc and throw it in the freezer. And I did my daughter's manicure in February with it, and it was working perfectly. So again, do this on your own risk. There is no guarantee for the quality of the product once it's open. The other thing why they not recommend, because depending on how used to doing your manicure with this you are, it can take longer time. Like I can probably do my manicure now, if I don't make like fancy this kind of stuff, in like 10 minutes. So I leave it exposed to the air much shorter than maybe someone who is newbie and takes half an hour, 45 minutes. So depending on how quickly you can put everything back to the bag and seal it, the chance to save it's bigger, if that makes sense. So thank you, Linda, for asking that. That was a really good question. And then it reminds me that I forgot to show. Let me turn back the camera and show something, guys. And I'm not gonna like do my toes because I already did, but I wanted to show. Let's say that you have the biggest strip and your toes is too wide, it's not gonna fit. Then if you, let me turn back the camera. So if your nails are too wide and it's not, you know, you cannot put it on like this because you still have like nails. What you can do, you can turn it over this way. And just like I showed you before when I was just going with my fingernail and cut the extra, you just do the same. Hi Alexandra, I hope you will find this helpful. I know you are just starting with Color Street, so I hope you will have a great experience. This is my tips on toes. I know summer is coming, open shoes is coming, so the strip I just use like this. If it's not wide enough, you can go for the pedicure line, or if you don't like those colors and you really love one of these, you can try to go like this. And then, as I just showed earlier when I did my toenails, you can go just like this and take it out the extra. It's really